What's good? What's poppin'? What's crackulated? It is your boy Nico Bean with the steam, and we got another one. So tonight we're gonna be talking about how T'Challa could have been used in Endgame and Infinity War. Now, I have been thinking about this. I had a conversation yesterday when I was at work with one of my coworkers, and I shouted out some points of how T'Challa in the MCU could have been used instead of him being dusted like he was in Infinity War. And I'm going to start from the point of view of how he could have been introduced. And I'm going to make another video on how he should have been introduced way before Captain America Civil War, and how Marvel, not before they started the MCU, but how they could have potentially had a deeper meaning to what T'Challa meant throughout the MCU, being a key player in everything. So I'm going to start off with this. One, T'Challa should have never been dusted. You should have had either Shuri or Ramonda that could have been dusted. That would have put T'Challa in a certain place to where not saying he had to grow up fast as a king, which he already was in his own right, because he had opened the borders of Wakanda to the rest of the world. But he could have, he shouldn't have been dusted, and we would have seen him use his smarts, because T'Challa has a PhD from Oxford. And so we would have seen that. We would have seen how he could have put his smarts together to where in the comics he works with T'Challa. Not T'Challa, but the Avengers, specifically probably Tony Stark, where Tony Stark is baffled by how smart he is, and shows him like they showed his sister. We could have had T'Challa save Vision before Thanos came, and when they showed Shuri trying to take out the stone from Vision's head, the Mind Stone, I'm pretty sure if they would have established in his solo movie that he had smarts and that he created the nanotech suit that he had instead of his sister, and even though in the movie they did show his design, the suit that he made for himself, which is the Civil War suit, I understand that only gave him a very inkling, a fraction of what he had up here. So we have that. We have Shuri could have dusted or been injured and probably could have been in a coma, to where we would have had in Black Panther 2. We could have introduced, and I'm gonna make a video about this. It's gonna be called the respectful version of Wakanda Forever. We could have had a whole bunch of other characters be introduced in this second movie that could have played. It could have spoken. Could have actually went page for page for what happened in Ta-Nehisi Coates' Black Panther run, where T'Challa is going through trying to find a way to bring his sister back, because he knows that her soul, her spirit, is in the spiritual realm. And she's talking to either Ramonda. Yeah, she's actually talking to Bast, but she's in the form of her mother, Ramonda. And so you could have introduced a whole slew of characters. One of the key ones being Manifold, because Manifold was the one who was able to teleport T'Challa to the ancestral plane through T'Challa's science of basically when he became King of the Dead, he was able to take what he knew from the other kings, other Black Panthers, and putting them all together, creating a different science. It's basically a necroscience. I forgot what the name of the science that he created, but this brother was so smart that he was able to basically create a device with the help of Manifold to basically teleport, open a gateway with Manifold's powers to go and get his sister's soul and bring her back into the body that she was in. And when that happened, she became Griot. So we could have had that instead of having what we have now. And I understand that we have to honor Chadwick Boseman, but you want to honor somebody the right way, do it to where it's honorable to not only to the man, but to the comics as well, because this is what we're talking about, is the comics. To try to talk, to teach the children, not teach the children, but to basically show children, hey, go pick up a book. You don't have to just watch this movie. Go actually ask your parents to get you something that will feed your imagination, because that's all it is, imagination escaping from the real world that we live in. So, yeah, in the way that, so that's Infinity War. Now, through Endgame, the snap, you could have had T'Challa do a slew of things. One, it would have definitely pushed him to help the world try to grasp and deal with the blip. Because, well, not really the world. He would have to help his country first, because it's his people that hurt. It happened initially in Wakanda, so everything kicked off in Wakanda. You would have had to have T'Challa probably set up a mural like they did in Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Well, Bucky and the Winter Soldier. Oh, I'm sorry, not Falcon. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. My bad. And you would have seen the mural that was in place of where Sokovia used to be. And so you see a mural where you either have that or you have what they had in Endgame, which was all of the people that dusted and were missed. You could have had that. You could have had the outreach program after T'Challa was all said and done with trying to cope with the snap. You could have had T'Challa pay homage to his sister and probably name one of the outreach centers after her before she got undusted in Endgame. And I understand the plot point of trying to have the original 6 Avengers having their story arcs come to an end. I understand all that. But at some point you have to understand, if you're trying to make T'Challa the leading Avenger, you don't snap him. You keep him to where he's developing himself over time and trying to bring together ideas to get the Avengers together. Because if Carol Danvers, who was not really an original 6th Avenger, I've noticed that. You have Carol Danvers, who literally could have been dusted. Well, she couldn't have been dusted because she had the power of an Infinity Stone inside of her. So I understand that she couldn't have been dusted. I understand that. But she was all off in space, and when Fury sent this pager, the intergalactic page message to her, and she got the page, she came straight to Earth. I'm like, okay, why couldn't you keep another extra Avenger? Because she was going to be a part of New Avengers. Yeah. She could have been part of the New Avengers along with T'Challa, helping him out, giving him support to try to figure out how they can possibly get things rolling with helping out the world that she came from, and probably setting up the intergalactic empire of Wakanda. That's probably what you could have done. Because if Nick Fury can go and set up a refugee station that at the same time is creating sword, you could have also had T'Challa trying to find out, being curious and whatnot, and trying to find out where vibranium comes from. If there's another name for vibranium out in the world, out in the cosmos, and that would have led to Silver Surfer. That would have led to a whole slew of characters being introduced. Probably him even meeting the Eternals. Well, that would have been weird. No, the Eternals, nah, that would have been weird. But what I'm saying is, T'Challa is a key point, and especially if you're about to use him in Secret Wars, that is a main key point, left and right. He needs to be able to be developed, because we haven't seen any of that. We've seen little bits and pieces. We've seen him go from prince to king, but we haven't seen him just be established as a king, like set in stone. Now we have his sister taking on the mantle, and she don't know what the hell to do with it, because she just got in the role, all because we say we're going to have a second funeral for T'Challa. And that really does not make any sense at all. So, now, we have established not only how he could have been used in Endgame and in Infinity War, but let's talk about beyond. First off, in this movie, Wakanda Forever, we're missing the biggest fight in comic history between Namor and T'Challa. And the recent TV spot where it shows that Namor has vibranium. How? He's covered in vibranium? How is that even possible? How is he? Where did he get it from? Because last time I checked, there's no way that he should have been covered in vibranium. Because if Talokan is under the sea and the asteroid that carried vibranium landed in Africa, how is that even possible to where he has vibranium? I'm so confused by that. So, and I'm not saying it's gonna make me try to watch the movie, but the only way I'd probably watch this movie is if it comes on TV. That's the only way I'm watching that movie. And even then, I'm not paying for that movie on Disney Plus, because I'm not about to give my money to something that I do not support. I'm not doing that. So, you have T'Challa in Secret Wars, who not only carried the Infinity Gauntlet and was King of the Dead, he led an army of the dead up against Doom, which you also are setting up Doom Wars in this movie. So we're going to have a Dr. Doom cameo at the very end of this movie where he was pulling strings and trying to tell Namor, hey, Wakanda is an enemy. And then you have Namor have a private conversation with Ramonda, saying, I need to know if Wakanda is an ally or an enemy. Wakanda had nothing to do with you the whole entire time. Y'all were dealing with the blip. He ain't had no time dealing with Infinity War because they were facing against Thanos and his Black Order. He wasn't doing nothing with y'all. And then y'all make reference to an earthquake under the ocean. And yeah, we ain't got nothing to do with that. We gonna let that be what that be. We not trying to mess with y'all. We, like the saying says, don't start none, won't be none. We not doing that. So, with all that being said, T'Challa is a focal point to a whole slew of story arcs that involve not only him, but other characters that go along the journey with him. And for them to say we're not going to recast the role is just not, it's not good for storytelling purposes. It's not. It's not good for business. It's not good for storytelling purposes. It's not good for a whole lot of reasons. And we, as the recast of T'Challa movie, are saying black representation, but that being the main height of it all, you have to break down certain things when it comes to where T'Challa is pinpointed in all different aspects of the Marvel storylines Marvel mythology, to where T'Challa's kingdom in and of itself is an influence amongst everything, but like there's subtle influences because you have the main toxic Captain America, who both Sam and Steve, because Sam got the shield made out of vibranium from T'Challa's father, T'Chaka, in World War II. And if they're about to say in this video game that they show T'Chaka fighting along with Captain America, that wouldn't be bad. I don't mind that. But we could have had a standalone Black Panther game that went from T'Chaka all the way up to T'Challa. And so we could actually, no, it would have been from T'Chaka to Sion to then T'Challa, because after T'Chaka was killed by Claw, we do know that Sion is the reason, Sion is the one who takes the mantle from his brother, becomes king, and raises T'Challa up until he's able to take on the mantle of Black Panther and be king. So, in that video game, whoever's making that, I forgot who it is, y'all need to be able to pay homage to what Stan Lee created with Jack Kirby and make that video game solid in and of itself, to where T'Chaka is probably killed at the end of this game. The second game, like I said, being Sion taking on the role, seeing the character development of Sion, even though he's just the brother and prince that is probably his assistant, handed to the king and advisor. And then you have T'Challa, who's in the background dealing with his father's death, but also knowing that later on down the line he's going to have to become king. And he's grooming himself to be that way. So we have that. And when it comes to the X-Men, you have a slew of stories that have not been touched. And like some other of influencers that have their YouTube channels, we're having stories on the shelves that are collecting dust because they're not being told. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff that needs to be changed when it comes to storytelling, because that's what all this is storytelling. You can't just push certain characters to the side and let other characters come on, all because it's an emotional decision. It has to be a logical decision. And this whole entire movie of Wakanda Forever is nothing but emotions. And that's what they're banking on. But that's my spiel, y'all. Thank y'all for rocking with me. Please like, share, subscribe, and tell me what y'all think. Love y'all, and see y'all on the next one.